everyone, my name is Fidel. I work here at FYCC. Hopefully you are all doing very well, sheltering in place. We thought here at FYCC it would be a little fun to give you some ideas of food that you can make with the items we're providing in our food pantry. So today we're going to be making a tomato-based soup for this elbow pasta. And that is going to include, of course, tomato sauce. You can also use canned crushed tomatoes. Just make sure to blend it into a sauce. We're going to have onions that we're going to saute along with garlic. And when it comes to the onions, you can also use a yellow onion. In this case, I wanted to use a green onion because the green onion is also going to make a good garnish. You can use either chicken bouillon, which will be mixed with boiling water, or if you have chicken stock on hand, that would be just as good. We're going to be sauteing these things in oil. In this case, I like to use olive oil. Add a little bit of cumin, but most importantly, any good pantry, you're going to have your salt. So with that in mind, let's get started. Now, two pieces of advice when cutting onions. One, when you want to cut an onion, best practices is usually to cut a few strips this way before you actually slice it. And this is if you're dicing onions. Same with your mincing garlic. That way, if you want to make it finer, you simply do a rocking motion like this. Second piece of advice I have for onions, and this is also very important, it's something that I learned from someone I live with, is if you want to avoid crying when cutting onions, all you have to do is breathe through your mouth instead of your nose. Now I know that makes your voice sound funny, you don't have to talk during the process, but trust me, if you breathe through your mouth, your eyes won't water when you're cutting onions. It's a little sloppy when it comes to cutting. Now that our garlic is minced and our onions are chopped up, we want to start sauteing. So we'll start with the onions. And you want to cook those for a few minutes, let them get really translucent, so kind of clear, and then you add the garlic, because garlic is going to cook a lot faster because it's minced a lot finer. And after those things are cooked pretty well, then we're going to add the tomato sauce, and then from there we'll add the chicken bouillon and some water to thin it out. I also find that cumin is optional to have. I'm just going to add it in this case, but I think for the most part it's not completely necessary. But it will add a little bit more flavor to the recipe. Yeah. And then aside from cumin, of course if you want a really smooth sauce, you're going to put this in the blender before you add it with the pasta. But in this case, texture is just completely up to you. In my case, I'm not going to be putting it in the blender, mostly because of time constraints, but that's another thing. Won't really affect the flavor profile, so it's really up to what you want to do. And now that my sauce is ready and I thinned it out a bit with more hot water, all I have to do is add the pasta. Make sure to stir it every now and then just to make sure that things don't clump up. Otherwise, after having it on high heat for a minute or two, you're just going to lower it down to simmering heat and leave it there for a good 20 minutes, and then it should be ready. After about 20 minutes, your pasta should be ready.
Now again, depending on the amount of liquid you put in, you could end up with something closer to an actual sauce than soup. But either way, same flavor profile. Now you can top this with your preferred cheese. In this case, just put some green onions over it. You're also welcome to put cilantro or sour cream. But that's pretty much it. I think if you kind of follow the recipe, you'll know that this is very similar to what we call Sopa de Caracol in Mexico. But here it is. Enjoy.
The other problem with plating is I picked a big plate.
Oh shit. Oh, the camera finally failed me.
I want to make sure I caught that because cookie